Well, in the news that's coming in right now, the death toll has increased to 23 CRPF personnel who were killed in the Jammu and Kashmir Pulwama district, where the IED blast ripped through the bus they were travelling in. The vehicle was blown up on the Srinagar-Jammu highway in the Avantipura area of the district. There were also some reports of firing at the bus that took place after the blast. Now, the terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed has claimed responsibility for the incident. We're now getting reactions from the IG CRPF on what exactly has happened and the damage to both personnel and to the CRPF as they assess it right now. Just go straight to reactions. Mehbooba Mufti is speaking to the press right now.
मिल रहा है, बल्कि हमारे जवान जो हैं इस तरह से शहीद किए जा रहे हैं। यहाँ भी कश्मीर में रोज़ कोई ना कोई लोग मरते रहते हैं, तो इस सब खून खराबे को बंद करने के लिए मेरा ये मानना है कि तमाम जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ को उनको इकट्ठा होना चाहिए, एनडीए गवर्नमेंट के साथ मिलकर कोई इसमें कोई रास्ता निकालना चाहिए ताकि ये खून खराबा हमेशा के लिए बंद हो जाए।
In fact, my colleague Fareed, who's our bureau chief of the Times Network in Kashmir, is standing by right now. Fareed, what can you tell us? We understand from the information you've just given us that the death toll is now at 23.
That's right. The death toll is increasing, and that really was the fear, because this is a massive blast, unprecedented. The intensity of this car bomb blast, it ripped through this convoy, at least two vehicles, it ripped through literally. And the impact was massive. In fact, the first pictures we got at that very time, I could really sense that this is going to be big as far as casualties are concerned. Now, the latest is that 23 have been killed, and this 23 CRPF jawans have been killed, and another 30 are injured. Some of them are critical, and that really tells you that the death toll can still climb, it can mount. These jawans have been shifted to the Army's 92 base hospital in Srinagar, Badami Bagh, which specializes in blast injuries and conflict injuries, basically. So this really is the latest, this blast that has happened in the outskirts of Srinagar. It is the Lethpura area on the new bypass in the outskirts of Srinagar, though in the Pulwama district. Our sources in the police tell us that now it is getting clear that it was a Fidai attack. A suicide bomber literally rammed his car into this convoy, and the blast, the magnitude was such that that vehicle has been literally crushed into pieces, or should I say in a mangled shape. The CRPF, at least 3 vehicles bore the brunt. One bus, which had around 44 CRPF jawans, got the maximum impact, while many of them, in fact, the first visuals were absolutely gory and shocking, where they were mangled remains of body parts, dead bodies littered across. So this is a big attack after a long time. Car bombing was something that Kashmir did see in the early 90s, and even in the first part of the 2000 till 2003 and 4. But after that, these attacks had stopped. More importantly, because the militant outfits were basically under the pump as far as the security forces were concerned. They had stopped these attacks. It was more about Fidai attacks, where the suicide cadre used to enter security force establishments and cause casualties. Last car bombing, massive, happened in 2008 and 9, where one near Narbal, where an army bus was targeted. At that time, Hizbul Mujahideen had claimed responsibility. IED was triggered. 10 army jawans were then killed. I'm talking of 2008. Then in 2008 again, a car bombing happened outside the central jail in Srinagar. At that time also it was a car bomb, though not a suicide attack. A car IED was kept when,
yes.
In fact, on the side of the road.
In fact, Fareed, just one moment.
At that time, 5 policemen were killed. So
in news that is coming in at this point, the convoy, we understand, understand, was from Jammu to Srinagar. It was attacked. It was a convoy of 2,547 security personnel that were attacked. They were traveling in 78 vehicles. Now, we understand the death toll, as you've told us, Fareed, is at 23. Do we know how many of them are injured or how many of them are critically injured out of these 2,547 security personnel who were in that convoy?
Well, this number is the total strength of the CRPF jawans who formed that convoy. So let us not really mix it with the attack, though the attack happened on the convoy. But obviously, it was a huge, long convoy, and these were only 3 vehicles that bore the brunt of this attack. 3 vehicles which were close to this IED that was detonated, or the car that rammed against one vehicle, which was a bus, and then at least 3 vehicles which were in front and on the rear of this bus were also hit. As far as this bus is concerned, this obviously bore the brunt. At that time, in fact, around 50 to 60 is the number that we're being given, out of whom 23 are dead. And so that tells you around 25 to 30 CRPF jawans who are injured. Now, out of these injured, we've been told that at least 15 more are in a serious state, are critical, and they have been shifted to the army hospital. So that again tells you that the death toll may mount. The death toll will still climb because there are some injuries which are very grievous. So this is one attack that has happened after a long time, a massive attack, and it was in many ways expected because of late the militant outfits were basically on the run. Because of many operations, the cadre was getting depleted. Many top commanders were killed. So they had to show their presence in a big way. This is more about the impact value, about the sensation, just to lift the sagging morale and ensure that they show their presence in a big way. So this is an attack which is basically directed towards that. But yes, a massive security challenge now for the security agencies. Back to you.
Yes, Fareed, stay with us. In fact, our colleague Sohail sent us this update from Tripura some time ago. We're just going to take our audience through it.
Major terror strike on National Highway 44 in Kashmir Valley. This is Avantipur area, and on National Highway 44, a bus came under the IED attack, followed by firing. CRPF jawan lost their lives in this attack. I'll tell Vijay to pan the camera and show you that the bus that came under attack has been put under a cover. The experts have been brought into the spot to ascertain, to know that as what kind of explosive was used for this terror strike in Kashmir Valley in the recent times. This is a major terror strike that has taken place on the National Highway 44. We have seen in the last 2 months how grenades were lobbed on the security establishments in Kashmir Valley, but this is the major one that has taken place, in which CRPF jawans who were traveling towards Srinagar came under attack and lost their lives on the National Highway 44. Top officers of Jammu and Kashmir police as well as CRPF have also rushed to the spot. The situation is being, the situation is being ascertained at this point of time. The officers are looking in to this incident, that what kind of explosive was used.
In fact, reactions coming in now from the CRPF and the police in Kashmir. Let's listen in.
There was a terror incident. The CRPF convoy, which was coming from Jammu and going towards Srinagar, was attacked. We have suffered damage to the vehicle as well as to the men. We suspect that it was a vehicle-bound attack. So was it a However, no, it's not confirmed as yet. The Jammu and Kashmir police has taken up the investigation, and we have suffered damage to both men and our vehicles.
As it was mentioned by IGCRPF, it's a terror incident. It's a terror incident, and we are looking into to the possibility of what led to this blast. There was a ROP, there was a vehicle convoy which was coming, and it was there is an explosion. And what is the nature of explosion, how it has happened, what led to this explosion, these are all subject of investigation. So we are going to carry out a professional post-blast investigation to understand the circumstances. And at present, what IGCRPF said, that the number of casualties, the injured, whosoever injured, they have been shifted to the hospital. We are now clearing the site. As and when we get the confirmation of the numbers, we will definitely share with you.
Well, responses coming in from the ground. We also have my colleague Fareed, who is still with me, and we understand, Fareed, from the information that you're giving us, that the perpetrator behind this attack has now been identified.
That's right, Jaish-e-Mohammed. In fact, a person who claimed to be a spokesperson of the outfit called a local news agency office and claimed that it was a local cadre of the Jaish by the name of Adil, who is a native of Pulwama in South Kashmir, who was the person who was driving this vehicle, a car bomb absolutely laden with explosives. So that is the part that we got, and obviously the security agencies will really look into that aspect as well, and it will be part of the investigation. But as of now, they've claimed that it was a local, and in fact a photograph and a video of the person has also been released, where he is in many ways trying to suggest that this is a kind of a cause that people should follow, and also importantly he is threatening that there could be more such attacks. So this is in a way will give an insight to the security agencies about what the Jaish has done, and in fact what it is planning, because what has happened, it has happened. So next challenge is to stop such attack, and for that they need the intel agencies to have a close coordination with the forces on the ground and stop these people in their tracks, because if they've managed this, they can come and do more such attacks. But as I said, it's a massive strike simply because it's a car bomb that has happened after a long time in the Kashmir Valley. This indicates that they do have someone in their ranks who is expert as far as IED configuration and compiling an IED is concerned, or making an IED is concerned. And also importantly, they also have people who have been brainwashed to the extent that they are ready to drive a vehicle full of explosives and ram it into a security force vehicle. So these are very dangerous indicators for the security agencies. But yes, right now their focus is to look into this attack, provide best medical facilities and medical aid to the injured CRPF jawans, and then collect evidence and immediately go back and start doing something about it so as to stop the next
Fareed,
attack.
how far
One has
away?
happened, and the challenge is to stop the next attack.
How
Back
far
to you.
away? How far away was the attack from the army hospital that you said? The army hospital that you said where the injured have been taken, the injured, CRPF jawans have been taken. They were on a highway. How far away were they from medical aid?
The army hospital is in Srinagar, and this attack took place in the outskirts of Srinagar. It is Pulwama district, but we can say that it's in the outskirts of Srinagar. This is the new highway that was recently opened, and in fact, on that highway, this big group of vehicles, this cavalcade, was coming towards Srinagar. The army hospital approximately would be around 22 kilometers away from the spot of this attack. In fact, around 20-25 kilometers. But yes, they did manage to ensure that the ambulances come in quick, and a passage was created without any trouble. In fact, as far as these vehicles were concerned, they were taken from the opposite traffic, and basically corridors were created to ensure that they reach the hospital in the minimum possible time. So that obviously was done as soon as this attack took place. But the sheer scenes on the ground and the kind of damage and devastation this blast has done, so that tells you that most of the casualties happened in the first impact, and probably at least 8 or 9 happened when these injured, who were very grievously injured, were taken to the hospital, but before they could reach and get medical help, they expired. And let me also add here that our sources in the hospital tell us that there are still at least 10 to 12 CRPF jawans who are in a critical state. They are serious. They've got grievous nature of injuries, and that again tells you that the the death toll may further increase. So all these indicators suggest that death toll will increase, but a deadly attack nonetheless, and a new dimension to militant attacks this attack has done. And obviously this will also add a new dimension to the security forces and the way they investigate this case and really take
Yes.
future threats as far as such
Fareed,
kind of attacks are
Fareed,
concerned.
stay
Back
with
to you.
us. Stay with us. We've now got reaction coming from Raj Bhavan, from the Jammu and Kashmir Raj Bhavan. The governor has urged all security forces commandants to enhance surveillance at every front and directed the district individuals, civil and police administration to immediately review the security management of all important installations and establishments. This is from the governor. Viewers, the rest of the country will remember that Jammu and Kashmir is under governor's rule at this point. There is no politically elected state government. There is governor's rule, but we do understand that jawans are now taking stock of the situation, and several of those in the 3 vehicles that faced the brunt, like Fareed was telling us, have been moved to the army hospital. Here's a photograph that has been released that Fareed has just sent us. We understand that this is a member of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. It has been released by the Jaish-e-Mohammed, taking credit for this attack. Adil Ahmed, we understand his name is. Fareed, I want to go back to you with this photograph that we're seeing right now. Obviously, it's going to be something that angers and upsets a lot of people. It's obviously a very young person as well. This sort of, putting out this sort of visual, obviously, from on the part of the Jaish-e-Mohammed is meant to upset people. All right. On the phone line with me, Maruf Raza, our defense expert here with the Times Network. Mr. Raza, good evening, and thank you for joining us. This is obviously terrible circumstances under which we have to have this conversation right now. But you've obviously, what have you gathered so far in terms of information, and what do you know so far in terms of what the reaction is going to be to this terror attack?
My understanding is that this terror attack has obviously been planned well, because apparently there was a convoy moving with 2,500 personnel or more. That's the size of a brigade, and that takes up a lot of road space. Our past experience in J&K has been that whenever large troop movements have taken place, as we saw in some cases where there were stone pelters who attacked army convoys, there seems to have been quite clearly leakage of information about the time and the route that convoys are likely to take, which passes on from local, government establishment onto the militants who have moles and elements that keep them informed. And therefore, this has been a fairly planned and orchestrated exercise, because you haven't seen this kind of a car bomb attack for at least 12 years or more in J&K. This is, again, going back to car-based or auto-based IED attacks, which are a very lethal form of suicide attacks.
In fact, Mr. Raza, just one moment, information that's coming in. There's an update on the IED blast in Latumod in J&K. The bus which had come under the main impact of the blast belonged to 76BN CPRF. As per the commuters list, there were 39 personnel traveling on that bus. The exact number of casualty and injured are still awaited. Mr. Raza, also, you did say that this is, this was planned and orchestrated. It's very likely that the route of this entire movement of the troops and the size of the troops, you said is it's almost a brigade, was possibly mapped and then targeted. Now, my question to you is the explosives and sourcing the explosives and how the explosives made its way into Kashmir. Is there information about that? Is this something that, that people should be very concerned about at this point?
That's a good question. The explosives that you require to create an IED blast can vary from plastic explosives to heavy explosives. These, unfortunately, in J&K, seem to have been having a fair amount of free movement, and not just on the main roads of transit, but they do come across from the borders. I mean, it's not impossible for Pakistan to send in militants with rucksacks and a group of militants, each having a certain amount of explosives that can all be wedded and tied together to make one proper big attack explosive, which is what we are very likely to have been the case here. There is also reports about some firing having been done on the vehicle. So this was, to my mind, a planned explosive attack with an ambush. Once again, these things normally happen when there is a certain amount of laxity on the part of the security forces. Unfortunately, in a terrorist situation or in an insurgency, you can never let your guard down. And the security forces have to be lucky every time. The terrorist has to be lucky just once to get this kind of a major headline hogging event. And this is going to have a fair amount of implications both within the valley, and I wouldn't be surprised with elections coming around the corner, the government to be stepping up on their counter-Pakistan drive. Now, it could have several implications, from an Uri-type counter-response to basically hitting back at the militants and their sympathizers, who tend to be in fairly decent numbers in this route, which has been in the past also an area where targeted attacks have taken place. So I think the bigger picture will begin to unveil itself over the next few days. But quite clearly, this has caught everybody on the wrong foot.
Yes. Mr. Rasa, forgive me for interrupting you for a second, but the advisor to the governor of Jammu and Kashmir is speaking with the press right now. We're just going to cut across to him, please.
Condition, so it could be 20. But I am only basing on telephonic reports I'm getting from the field. But this, somebody mentions that it could be an attack by a bomb-laden car or something. It's too premature for me to confirm it. I'm getting various input from others, and later on we'll be at it.
क्या आप जा रहे हैं सर वहाँ पे कश्मीर?
Straight, I'm going back via Jammu. Tomorrow morning I'm in Srinagar.
इसमें किस तरह का ब्लास्ट है? किस तरह का ब्लास्ट?
Oh, it will be only based on forensic evidence. अभी तक जो भी information मिला है, it looks like a powerful explosive, and the impact has been quite a bit.
सर पहले इनपुट भी मिला हुआ था, कहा जा रहा है कि
ये टाइप का इनपुट मिलता रहता है. ये टाइप का इनपुट का ऊपर हम भी कार्रवाई करते हैं, हम भी बाकी लोगों को अलर्ट करते हैं. जब भी हमारा तरफ से कुछ प्रेशर वगैरह, अब जैसे कि आप जानते हैं लास्ट ईयर का more than 250 militants have been eliminated last year, the highest in the last 10 years. उसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है उनका इम्पोर्टेंट कमांडर्स, 19 कमांडर्स, इम्पोर्टेंट लोग, 5 तंजीमें, अल-बदर, JEM, हरकत मुजाहिदीन, LET, सो बहुत नुकसान हुआ, बहुत डैमेज हुआ. सो इस साल शुरू से भी हमारा सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस की कार्रवाई वेरी एक्टिवली इट वाज गोइंग ऑन. सो इन बिटवीन लॉट ऑफ ग्रेनेड्स एंड एक्शंस वर गोइंग हैपनिंग, and we are tightened up our grid, and some of the grenade models were also busted. One minute. So the report of possibility of IED usage was also there, that was shared, but it is not a specific intelligence. Okay. When you say there is a general intelligence, to convert into specific, actionable, takes great effort and great amount of luck. So that's what we are now at the first stage is handling the crisis. Second stage is to avoid further damage, and then go on intelligence-based operations. We will be at it steady.
ये सुसाइड अटैक था आप कर रहे हैं? सर ये क्लेम किया जा रहा है कि सुसाइड अटैक था और जैस इसको क्लेम कर रहा है.
The claims can be made several times. पहले भी हुआ था, कई लोग ने कहीं इंसिडेंट के ऊपर क्लेम किया है, लेकिन बाद में वो पता चला वो it's not correct. So I don't want to venture into speculation. We'll wait on that.
सर बाकी लास्ट होमग्रोन.
What do you say by homegrown?
मींस की
That again is a matter of speculation. We have to confirm whether it is a foreign militant or a local militant.
Okay. Thank you.
In fact, we have information coming in from the Home Ministry as well. The Home Minister has spoken with the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, the DG, the Director General of the CPRF, and the Home Secretary regarding the Pulwama attack. They have appraised him of the situation. The Home Minister has cancelled his scheduled visit to Bihar tomorrow. The Ministry of of Home is closely monitoring this situation. That's information coming in right now from the Home Ministry on Twitter. Now, there is a possibility of IED, like we've been told. That is the nature of the attack at this point. We also have a message from Mr. Arun Jaitley, the Finance Minister, who has tweeted saying that an attack on the CPRF in Pulwama, Jammu and Kashmir is cowardice and a condemnable act of terrorists. The nation salutes the martyred soldiers and we stand united with the families of the martyrs. We pray for the speedy recovery of the injured. Terrorists will be given an unforgettable lesson for their heinous act. I just want to take this back right now to Maruf Raza, who joins us on the phone line. If we still have Mr. Maruf Raza with us. Maruf, here's my question to you. We know that the Jaish-e-Mohammed was quick to sort of come in and take credit for this attack. They've also released the photograph, a disturbing, worrying photograph of a young man saying that this was the one who perpetrated this fidain or suicide attack. But do you believe that this could just be speculation, or this should perhaps not be taken at face value?
Well, you know, whenever a terror attack takes place, in fact, coincidentally, I was just speaking on terrorism and the media earlier in the day at an NSG seminar, and I said so that if there was no media, the terrorists would have created one, because they look for coverage, they look for media attention, and their battle is only fully won once not only have they brought about enormous damage to individuals and institutions, but also if they've got full coverage for it. So as far as if it's Jaish which is claiming credit, when there's a strong possibility, because the Jaish-e-Mohammed has been extremely active in J&K of late. The Uri attacks were also initiated by Jaish-e-Mohammed. So if they've done it, as far as they're concerned, they've scored all the points in their favor right now. And it is now up to the government and the forces in deployment in Jammu and Kashmir to respond effectively to that. I mean, our reactions in Kashmir have always been reactions and reactive.
Yes.
What I have found absolutely annoying is that we haven't been, barring aside the Army's operations, which of late have got a lot of success, which is called All Out, which means the Army has gone to go and eliminate the terrorists and not wait to get hit and then respond to it. So if we need to be on top of the situation, we need to continue to keep them under pressure. But having said that, I completely reiterate the point again and again, but killing terrorists does not kill terrorism. If you have to kill terrorism, you have to have a far more comprehensive approach to dealing with terrorism, which unfortunately, governor's rule or no governor's rule, has been absent in J&K.
Absolutely. And I just want to read out another comment that I hope that you will help us understand. We have, Arun Jaitley saying the terrorists will be given an unforgettable lesson for their heinous act. Of course, the opposition, Omar Abdullah, Rahul Gandhi also tweeting, but I just want to focus on what Mr. Arun Jaitley has said, an unforgettable lesson. Maruf Raza, how do you, as a defense expert, is there anything to be read into this comment, that they will be taught an unforgettable lesson? What does this mean? Is this a warning of an offensive that we're going to go on? How would you interpret this?
Well, if it's got to be an unforgettable lesson, it has to be a lesson that will be remembered for some time. And the only way out is that we have all the satellite and other information about Jaish-e-Mohammed camps across the LOC. And we have to go out and go and hit them again and again, either by troops on the ground like special forces or use drone attacks, and publicize those hits and show that the Pakistan Army is not exactly the guardian of Pakistan's frontiers as they trumpet themselves to be. And unless we are able to scale up and put the pressure on the Pakistan Army and their lackeys, that, if you continue to perpetuate such acts of terror in India, India cannot take it lying down. Only then you are going to be able to speak to your adversary with a sense of advantage. Otherwise, within J&K, you can scale up your counter-terrorism operation. But please remember, the winter months are not very conducive to do that because of very, very restrictive activity because of snow.
Yes.
And also the local population is already at the receiving end of bad weather and lack of infrastructure.
In fact, on that note, I just want to quickly cut across to my colleague Fareed, who joins us now on Skype. And the reason why I want to quickly bring in Fareed is because his Skype depends on the internet connection. We understand that South Kashmir has already been blacked out from the internet so far, Fareed. We do know, and you've brought us these stories over the last 2 weeks of citizens in Kashmir who were struggling with bad weather. And now this, is there a shutdown now where you are in Srinagar? Could you tell us what's happening outside?
Well, Faye, Srinagar is fine. Srinagar has seen, in fact, Kashmir Valley has seen so many of these attacks that this is now a mentality where they take everything in their stride because they have to survive. You have to live in this place. Common man has to continue to go ahead with his life. So this is unfortunately become part and parcel of his life. You have attacks, you have people dying, but then life also has to go on. So in a way, unfortunately, they've just got it. Somehow in their scheme of things in their daily life that these things are going to continue, and so life will also have to continue. So that's the kind of the mentality that the common man has here. But unfortunately, this is a massive attack that has shaken one and all, because the sheer magnitude of damage it has done. I mean, the first pictures that we received, it looked more like Afghanistan or Syria than Kashmir, with a blast, mangled vehicle, and seams of blood, dead bodies, and damage everywhere. So this is something that we haven't seen of late only, because previously, yes, there have been car bomb blasts in the Kashmir Valley, as I said, after a long lull and gap. Such a massive attack has happened in 2008 and 9 was the last time when these kind of attacks happened. I still remember an army vehicle was targeted in a similar manner. But after 7-8 years, or those 7-8 years was a time when these attacks stopped. More importantly, because these militant outfits did not have the wherewithal, the explosives, or even the ID experts to do this. But what is worrying right now is that the JASH has acquired this capability as far as Kashmir is concerned. Definitely some ID expert in their ranks, and also importantly, the kind of damage this ID has done, it is quite clear that this car was laden with at least 50 to 100 kgs of explosives, and these are not crude explosives. Definitely seems to be some kind of plastic explosives or even RDX that has been used, although that is a matter of investigation. But I'm telling you, the kind of damage that has happened, it is not an ordinary explosive that has been used. Also, if you talk of the kind of injuries that have happened, these are shrapnel and IED blast injuries, and they're absolutely massive. We've seen that this IEDs and explosions of these kind can cause massive collateral damage. In this case, since it was a long
Right, we seem to have lost that connection. We try and get back to Fareed as quickly as we can, but we have J.K. Verma, defense expert, on the phone line with us right now. Mr. Verma, thank you for joining us. Good evening. Unfortunately, we have to speak under these circumstances, but my colleague was just telling us that it could have been explosives of 50 to 100 kgs, and this was not crude. This was very well planned and sort of orchestrated. Is this what you're picking up as well in your understanding of the information that you've got so far?
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, I will say this is a very tragic incident.
It is indeed.
In which our 18 valiant jawans lost their lives and about 40 were injured. In fact, this is a clear-cut case of desperation of Pakistan, because a lot of problems are going on in POK, and the people are resenting, and they are saying that the Indian Kashmir is much more progress than the POK. The other point which is also important is that because of the Operation All Out, as the terrorists are eliminated, that's why they feel that it is the time has come when they have to show the force. They have to show to the Kashmiris that, hey, join us because we are powerful, and that is the reason that they are attacking our forces. However, this is very important for us to take the revenge. We have to take the revenge. We have to attack the Jaish-e-Mohammed, not only in India, but in POK. And legally, we can also do it, because POK is part of India.
Absolutely. J.K. Verma on the phone line with us. We're going to take a very quick break, but please stay with us as we come back to track this unfortunate, terrible piece of news that we have to bring to you today. The biggest terror attack since Uri. And we know how India responded to Uri. Kashmir now in shock for a second attack of this kind. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Well, unfortunately, we have to bring you worse news. The Kashmir terror attack that took place in the Pulwama district, we understand the death toll has now risen to 30. This is among the deadliest attacks since Uri, with a death toll that is likely to increase as we go forward. As per the agencies, the death toll has now reached 30 in the deadly Kashmir terror attack, in which a blast ripped through the bus in which the CRPF contingent was travelling in. The vehicle was blown up on the Srinagar-Jammu highway at Avantipora area in that district, and there were some reports of firing at the bus after the blast. Now, the terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed has so far claimed responsibility for the incident. We have reactions coming in, and my colleague Fareed is live with me. Fareed, the death toll has gone up from what we understand now. The last we spoke, it was at 23, it's now at 30. Are the security agencies telling you that it's likely to go up even further tonight?
Yes, Faye, I can confirm this to you that I spoke to some sources in the CRPF. They say that this can still go up. Even it can even touch 40, though we hope that doesn't happen. But in fact, the kind of damage that this ID has done, even to the injured, is such that the death toll can mount. But as of now, 30 is the figure that we have been given. And as we had, in fact, have been reporting that there are many injured who are very grievously injured. So that may take this death toll further up. But yes, also important, this is the biggest attack in the history of CRPF as far as Kashmir Valley is concerned. We're not talking of the Naxal areas, but if you talk restrict your search to Kashmir, this is the biggest attack in the history ever since CRPF has been deployed. So that also will tell you that this is one massive attack. Now, the injured, most of them are at the army hospital, where in fact 2 more had succumbed. So that really took the toll to 30. The people there tell us that these are very, very grievous injuries that still some CRPF jawans are battling with, and they're trying their best, providing them whatever they have in the form of medical treatment. They have the best medical treatment, let me tell you, especially for these kind of battle injuries, and they're trying their best to revive these CRPF jawans. But yes, already a lot of movement as far as New Delhi is concerned as well. We're getting to know that DG-CRPF, even Home Minister, is planning to come to Kashmir. The advisors, some of them who are sitting in Jammu, may also come here. There could be a very high-level security meeting tomorrow to review the situation and also see what kind of steps can be taken to stop such attacks, where the lacuna was, whether it was some kind of a security lapse that led to this, wasn't enough intel that was generated. Why wasn't enough intel generated for that kind of an attack? Why wasn't it preempted? So all these questions they'll try to answer, but yes, it's a big statement as far as the Jaish-e-Mohammed is concerned. There is a history, where in the last some time, in fact, in the last 6-7 months, there have been non-stop operations against these militant outfits. Hundreds of them have been killed. Local, non-local top commanders have also been killed. So this kind of a revenge strike was expected, though our sources in the security apparatus tell us that they were expecting more of a Fidai hit, Fidai, because that happens in the Kashmir Valley, where 2 to 3 suicide attackers, Fidai of the Lashkar or Jaish, try to enter an army camp or attack an army convoy. But the car bomb was the last thing that they expected, because they were sure that these outfits do not have the capability, the explosives to do something of this nature. So that's why this has come as a big surprise, eye-opening surprise for the security agencies, because if they manage to do one, there could be more in the offing. They could be planning something big, and that's why they need some homework to be done on this and some drastic steps taken on the ground to stop such an attack.
Well, Fareed, we've also heard information that maybe the Home Ministry might actually visit Kashmir tomorrow. Is this something that you've picked up as well?
That's right, Faye. The Home Minister may visit Kashmir tomorrow, and that's in fact what we also pick up from the ground here, because sources in the security forces tell us that there could be a briefing tomorrow, a high-level security review meeting where people, top officers from all the wings of the various forces, be the Army, Police, CRPF, BSF, security officials, as well as intel people will be part of that meeting, because this attack has shaken everyone. This was not expected, and the kind of casualties that it has caused, obviously these are really disturbing when you're part of the security apparatus. So definitely you will want a review meeting just to see where you've gone wrong, where there was where there was a security lapse. So let me tell you, this highway where they managed to hit is full of security force personnel, because this has been a stretch from Srinagar outskirts right up to Avantipura, where there have been many such attacks in the past as well. Number of attacks in this stretch, standoff fire, Fidai attacks, grenade blasts. So this is very well manned. There is a proper road opening party. There are security bunkers. There are also mobile bunkers of the security forces. But still, if this has happened, but then you also will have to focus that if suicide attack is security attack is a kind of attack. In fact, Fidai attack is a kind of attack which is very difficult to stop, because you have a person who is hell-bent to die and in the process cause casualty. So it's very difficult to stop a Fidai once he's out. But then these are the questions and worries that the security agencies have. We'll have to wait how they respond to it. But as of now, internet blocked as far as South Kashmir, Pulwama is concerned, and a massive security blanket thrown around, and all the formations alerted as far as this threat is concerned. Faye?
Stay with us, Fareed. Our colleague Sohail is on the phone line from Avantipura as well right now. Sohail, what can you tell us at this point? We understand you are at the location where the attack took place. What update can you give us?
Well, if we talk about this attack now, the death toll has gone up to 30 personnel of CRPF have lost their lives. This is the official confirmation from the CRPF. And there are people who were grievously injured in this attack. The top officers of Jammu and Kashmir Police as well as CRPF have camped to the site. They are ascertaining that as what kind of explosive was used by the terror outfit to conduct this attack on the National Highway 44. But at the same time, we also need to consider that the convoy of the CRPF and other paramilitary forces have been given passage on the National Highway, thinking about the situation, because it's a critical situation on the Jammu and Kashmir and National Highway. Already the Jammu and Kashmir National Highway was closed due to massive snowfall, and these vehicles were en route from Jammu to towards Srinagar. At this point of time, these personnel have been allowed to ply, the cars and the other vehicles have been allowed to ply on the Jammu and Kashmir National Highway towards Srinagar. The officers yet have not left the spot because they are just looking into this matter. Because if we look at this deadly attack, the CRPF personnel, the blood is spilled all over the road, the limbs, the body parts, which are being collected by the doctors of the CRPF and other paramilitary forces at this site, and it's considered as a deadly attack. And in the recent past, we haven't seen, in early 2000, we have seen the attacks on the security personnel on National Highway. And after it's been a decade now when this latest incident has come, where 30 jawans of CRPF have lost their lives. Though if we talk about the Jammu and Kashmir intelligence agencies, they are saying that they knew that attack will take place, but they were not sure about the nature of the attack. And at the same time, Jaish-e-Mohammed outfit had been already giving threats, and there were posters which were released by them saying that they will carry out a terror attack in Kashmir Valley.
Right, Sohail, many thanks for that update. My colleague Sohail was in fact on the location. He sent us this report from a little while ago. This was earlier today.
Major terror strike on National Highway 44 in Kashmir Valley. This is Avantipur area, and on National Highway 44, a bus came under the IED attack followed by firing. CRPF Jawan lost their lives in this attack. I'll tell Vijay to pan the camera and show you that the bus that came under attack has been put under a cover. The experts have been brought into the spot to ascertain, to know that as what kind of explosive was used for this terror strike. in Kashmir Valley in the recent times. This is a major terror strike that has taken place on the National Highway 44. We have seen in the last 2 months how grenades were lobbed on the security establishments in Kashmir Valley, but this is the major one that has taken place, in which CRPF jawans who were traveling towards Srinagar came under attack and lost their lives on the National Highway 44. Top officers of Jammu and Kashmir police as well as CRPF have also rushed to the spot. The situation is being, the situation is being ascertained at this point of time. The officers are looking in to this incident, that what kind of explosive was used.
In fact, we just have right now a message from the Prime Minister to the nation. He says the attack on the CRPF personnel in Pulwama is despicable. I strongly condemn this dastardly attack. The sacrifices of our brave security personnel shall not go in vain. The entire nation stands shoulder to shoulder with the families of the brave martyrs. May the injured recover quickly. That's the message from the Prime Minister at this point. He followed it up with a message. It says, I've spoken with the Home Minister Rajnath Singh ji and other top officials regarding the situation in the wake of the attack in Pulwama. That's the second message right now from the Prime Minister. We've had similar messages as well from the Home Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, and of course, Mr. Arun Jaitley. Take a look at some of the reactions that came in from political parties since we heard of this attack.
Terrorists are in desperation. They are in frustration, and in a cowardice act, they targeted a convoy of CRPF jawans in Kashmir Valley. We will not spare these murderers, killers.
It's an extremely unfortunate and sad day when we lose our brave soldiers to such a dastardly attack by obviously Pakistan-based terrorist groups. However, their sacrifice will not go in vain. Our brave soldiers are empowered by the government to take whatever action they wish to take. In fact, it is their bravery and their action that has led to the elimination of many dreaded terrorists and reduction of terrorist activities in the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
सीआरपीएफ जवानों ने जो वीर गति प्राप्त की और 35 से अधिक हमारे जवान जो घायल हैं, इस कायरतापूर्ण उग्रवादी हमले की भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस की ओर से हम कठोर से कठोर और कड़े से कड़े शब्दों में निंदा करते हैं। वीरगति प्राप्त हुए 18 हमारे सेना के जवानों को भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस की ओर से हम श्रद्धांजलि देते हैं और उनके परिवारों के प्रति हमारी दिली संवेदनाएं व्यक्त करते हैं। घायल हुए हमारे जवानों के प्रति भी हमारी संवेदनाएं और जल्दी से जल्दी वो कुशल हों और दोबारा देश सेवा के मार्ग पर वापस लौटें, ऐसा परमपिता परमात्मा से हमारी प्रार्थना है।
20 हमारे सीआरपीएफ के जवान शहीद हुए हैं और बहुत ही बुरा अटैक रहा है ये, और इसको अल्फाज नहीं है मेरे पास टू कंडेम इट, क्योंकि ऐसी हालत में जहां इतने सारे लोग एकदम से जिनको जो शहीद किए जाएं और उनकी फैमिलीज़ का क्या हाल होगा, उनकी फैमिलीज़ पे जो इस वक्त जो उनकी फैमिलीज़ के ऊपर एक तूफ़ान आ गया है, कैसे संभालेंगे इसको। मैं उम्मीद करती हूं कि न सिर्फ मरकज़ी सरकार बल्कि तमाम जो मुल्क की हमारी जमातें हैं, सब मिलके इस मसले का कोई हल निकालें ताकि ये खून खराबा हमेशा के लिए बंद हो जाए। देखिए, सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक्स और बॉर्डर्स पे कन्फ्रंटेशन से हमें कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है, बल्कि हमारे जवान जो हैं इस तरह से शहीद किए जा रहे हैं। यहाँ भी कश्मीर में रोज़ कोई ना कोई लोग मरते रहते हैं। तो इस सब खून खराबे को बंद करने के लिए मेरा ये मानना है कि तमाम जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ को उनको इकट्ठा होना चाहिए, एनडीए गवर्नमेंट के साथ मिलके कोई इसमें कोई रास्ता निकालना चाहिए ताकि ये खून खराबा हमेशा के लिए बंद हो जाए।
We also have these visuals that have now come to us of ground zero where the attack has taken place. You can see an ambulance there that has obviously been rushed to the spot, and you can also see the two buses. We understand there were 3 out of 2 buses that were actually targets of this attack, and they were, as you could see in some of those visuals, firing that actually took place at the bus after the attack. From the information that we've picked up so far from our correspondents, there was a car that was loaded with IED explosives, between 50 to 100 kgs of it. The route of this convoy was mapped and strategized. The car rammed into the bus carrying this CRPF personnel and then exploded. From what we understand now and where we are at this point, the death toll is at 30. This is far, far worse than the attack in Uri. During the attack in Uri, we lost 17 men in uniform. In this particular case, we've already lost 30, and there might be a possibility that that toll might actually climb through the night, because several of them are injured and are currently in hospital and perhaps also critical. We will stay with this story and bring you more updates as they happen. Stay with Mirror now.